We are.
So
Let's keep going.
we are at the top of the hour, so we want to get started here. So welcome everybody to our webinar this morning. This is one of the funnest things we do. I love objections, and so that's what we're going to talk about today, is overcoming objections. And so my name is Judy Feldhausen, and I am joined today by my cohort in crime, Jean LaVallie.
Hey guys, I'm so happy that you're here. It's such an exciting topic. Judy created this whole slideshow, and Judy's been working as a business coach for such a long time. I really have a lot of respect for what she does and the information that she gives. And it's so key to knowing how to overcome objections, because as network marketers, we hear no quite often, and also we get the roll of the eyes. We get all kinds of negative responses that we now somehow have to take. And as Judy and I were talking before we started the webinar, is take those objections or take those that negative energy and turn it into something positive and turn it into an opportunity. So we're hoping that when you leave the webinar today, you're going to leave with a little more confidence and a little more belief in yourself and what you're doing. So go ahead, Judy.
Yes, so absolutely, and it is about getting that courage, and we're going to talk about that today. But first, as we always do when we start our webinars, is that we really have three key goals for our business. And what we're doing today is improving our N factor or skill level. In order to get better at what we do, we have to become better ourselves. And so part of that is education and learning and just making ourselves a better person, and you do that by improving your N factor, and here we are today doing that. And the next things is, of course, we need customers. This is a business where we have a product that blesses lives, and so we want to be able to do that a lot, and we need customers to do that, and that really improves our bottom line. Because we make money by doing that. And third, to attract business builders, because we want to have nitric oxide and perarginine plus a household name, and we cannot do that alone. There's not enough of us to cover the country, the world, so we need more of us. So, and that also adds income into our bank account every month.
Yeah, and I love this slide. We've been showing this slide probably for as long as I've been doing webinars, which is probably over a good 5 years. And the funny thing is that now Synergy has jumped on board with our Elite Honors program. And basically the Elite Honors program is centered around acquiring customers and attracting business builders. And the great thing about our plan is that yes, we do want to attract business builders. That's where our residual income is going to come from. But customers create the cash flow right now, and Synergy doesn't make a differentiation for us. So they're happy. They'll give us an Elite Honors qualification just for getting customers, but also then you also get the points for attracting business builders. So it's a win-win for everybody. It's a win for Synergy, it's a win for us, and it's a win for the people that we talk to, because we don't need to be those network marketers that when someone is interested in a product that we're jumping down their throat to start a business. And I've never been that way, never planned to be that way, and it's just a more real business for me, the way that Synergy sets up their rewards program for us in the Elite Honors qualification.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and we just love Elite Honors, and the bonuses that are going on with Elite Honors right now. It's really nice to get that extra bonus check, in our paycheck every month. So really, today we're going to talk about objections, and really, what is an objection? Well, my husband always says, there's no such thing as a problem in our lives. Because what we really have is opportunities. And so that's how I see objections, is it is an opportunity. If you say no the first time someone hints at an objection, you are going to lose that person as a possible friend, as a possible customer, as a possible business builder. That is the end. But if you can continue this conversation, you are going to really build rapport with the person, make better connections, build friendships. You know, we have arguments with our friends all the time. You should hear Jean and I. We talk, we say our mind to one another, and that's a good thing. And so we have to feel that way when we're with a customer, because they're people too. So it's gonna build that rapport, and it's gonna build belief for them, and it's gonna build belief in us when we continue the conversation. And the person with the biggest belief wins.
That's so true. I mean, when I heard Mark Comer talk about our beliefs should be through the roof, with all the testimonials that we have and the things that we know, not only about ProArginine Plus, but also all of the other high-quality products that we represent, our belief level should be through the roof. Now, does that mean that we tell everybody what to do and we tell everybody what they should have? No. But when your belief level is that high, and where I've gotten to now is that I'm absolutely convinced that this is an amazing opportunity, and that everyone, no matter what your life situation is, that you should be on ProArginine Plus. My kids tease me that every time someone has some type of an issue in their life, I'm like, they should be on ProArginine. And that's just where my belief is. So when you have a belief that high and somebody says, I'm not interested, I tell people, okay, well, keep my information, because someday you probably will be interested. And that's just, again, your belief level supports your ability to handle objection, because what you believe is that it's not really an objection, it's just maybe somebody not understanding what it is that you're saying. And without trying to, 2 or 3 years ago, I think I said it to you, Judy, I'm not in the business of trying to convince anybody of anything. I know what is true, and I know what I believe, and I'm looking for people who believe what I believe.
So then when you have that belief, no really becomes our vitamin. We've already got nitric oxide. That to me is it's not a vitamin, but to me it is such a wonderful supplement that Jean just said. There's so many things. It's all about blood flow, and this is not anything about ProArginine Plus, but we've got the best product. So we've got to get that wonderful product into the bodies of all the people we know. So that is a stimulus for us, just to be able to bless other lives. But make that word no a vitamin. Make it so it boosts us up, and it makes us want to continue to go on and on and on, and not to finish the conversation, but as you see with our 4 steps that we use to overcome objections, it's just a stepping stone. The no's become a way to educate and help people to understand.
Absolutely, Judy. I used to get so dejected when someone would tell me no, and then I think it was Jim Rohn who said, start collecting no's. That's it. No, it's a book. Go for no. I read the book. Go for no, and it changed my whole outlook on what no means. And you're right. It does when you change your frame of reference to the word no. Suddenly, it does become your vitamin, because it empowers you to move forward. And I wanted to comment too what you said about, Judy, about when someone says no and still continuing with them. Yes, the idea is that you're building relationships with people, and maybe the person who's standing in front of you is saying no to you, but maybe they know somebody, maybe they have somebody, maybe they have a relative or someone that maybe you could just talk to them, and maybe they're not even your customer, but maybe they know somebody, and it becomes this huge network marketing of people that that know what you do, you know what they do. I don't believe that it can be one-sided. I believe we have to be there to support each other. And when someone says, oh, my so-and-so, he's got blockages in his heart. Oh, well, you should call Jean LaVallie. You know, when you talk enough about it, you start to brand yourself to the person who knows something about what the issue is that people have. So when someone says no to you, continue that relationship. Don't walk away dejected and sad. Continue that relationship with them, even if they're an old customer and they've decided to get off the product. Sometimes those are my biggest believers because they see now what they were missing. Sometimes when people get on our products and they feel better and then they say, oh, you know what, I want to buy a new boat or something. I don't have money for this stuff anymore. And 2-3 weeks later, they give me a call and they're like, I feel awful. I've got to get back on the stuff. And that usually is just the proof in the pudding for so many people that they really need this product. And again, that will boost your belief level even further.
Yeah. Can I tell you a quick story? So I was flying back from Salt Lake City a couple weeks ago, sitting on a plane, and I was in the aisle seat, and I was talking, doing the plane thing, and I just happened to talk a little bit about Per-Arginine Plus and what I did and stuff. Just came out somehow. And so the woman, I was talking to the woman next to me. She got up to go to the bathroom. The woman in front of me turned around and started asking me questions. And then the woman that was in the window seat said, "Would you think this would help my boyfriend with diabetes?"
Wow.
I overheard what you were saying. And so, the woman that I talked to in the center seat, she was wonderful. We had a great conversation. She was not interested in the product, but 2 other people overheard me. So it doesn't make any difference if someone says no, really.
And Judy, you are my hero, but I have to tell you that when I hear you and Dane talk about the encounters that you have on an airplane, I'm like, I always think if I was the center person sitting between Dane and Judy on an airplane, there would be no airspace left for anybody else.
Thanks, Jane. I appreciate that.
I've been on a plane with Judy before, and if she leaves the airplane without knowing at least everybody in the first immediate rows around her, it's a miracle. I mean, she looks at everybody.
That's funny. That's funny.
So
no really is our vitamin. But we have to kind of get into our customer's mind a little bit. Have you ever stood there talking to someone about Per-Arginine or about the business, and they're like, and you're looking in their eyes thinking, what are they thinking? And they want to say no, and why are they wanting to say no? And what's really going on? And so there's some things basically that they want to be the person in the know. So sometimes they don't know how to answer your questions, so they just kind of give you an objection just to figure out really what their objection is. Sometimes I talk to people all the time that pretend that they know everything about health. And, they learned it on the internet, which, of course, is always right. But perhaps they've read it wrong or something. And, a lot of times when you're talking to people that are really strong, they want to show that they are in charge. And, they want to take over the conversation. And the last thing is sometimes, we say the word endothelium and people go into a haze. I swear. I can say cardiovascular and someone looks at me and says, "Are you a doctor?" We have to be really careful how we talk because we can confuse people when we start spouting off all this stuff that we know. We really have to remember to take it back down to the 7th grade level.
Yeah, and I from this, what is a customer prospect thinking, and I think we've all been there before. When you're talking, well, I'm sure you guys, no surprise to you that I usually in my head's going, "You're saying too much, back off. But I'm getting better at that. I'm learning to just throw out a little bit at a time and really take my time You know, so much of the time when I first started with the business, I would meet somebody who was the least bit interested, and I would just jump all over them and just say, okay, are you ready to sign up? You know, let's go. And man, I'd never see that person again. So now it's more of a, I'm going to let you think, and I'm just going to, you know, do my touches, let you think a little bit on what you're doing. And I really honestly don't want people to be joining me unless they really are committed. And by the way, I really don't want customers that I've talked into trying the product, because they probably won't take it every day, and that it probably won't do them as much good as it could do for them. So, you know, that's some of the things when I'm talking to customers now, I say, you have to take it every day. And they say, oh, yeah, I know. I'm like, no, you really have to take it every day, or you're not going to see the results that you want. And by the way, if you have an issue that you really need addressed, you're going to need to take it twice a day. And I think that your health is probably worth, you know, $2.40 a day. And, you know, I don't act condescending like that, but when you're talking to a customer and they're thinking and they're talking about whether it's affordable or whether it will work, we have all the bases covered. So if you just take your time and let the customer process what they're thinking, and then answer questions as they come up, and then sprinkle your conversation with, you really have nothing to lose. You really have nothing to lose. I'll stick with you. I have excellent customer service. I'll make sure that you're getting the results that you want. And if at the end of 90 days you don't get the results that you want, I will walk you through the process of getting a full refund for your purchase. So I've learned a lot over the years, and I think that it's really starting to work a little bit better for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, as the customer is thinking, there's really only two main things that they're thinking.
Ah.
Really.
Okay.
And one is that they and you can change the slide, Jane. So one is that they really have limited beliefs, and limited beliefs is huge in coaching. If you've been one of my coaching clients, you know that a limited belief is something that you know is true, and there's no way it will change. And in reality, it's probably a limitation that you've put on yourself. And if you look at it different, you can change that belief. Like, you know, I'm never going to be elite honors qualified. And I've heard that from people. I'll never be elite honors qualified. Well, you're right. You're limiting yourself by saying that, because, you know, what you say is the truth, even if it's to yourself. So limited belief about either themselves and how they are going to react, how they are going to feel about their belief in themselves, or maybe it's in network marketing, and they've had just, you know, their cousin had started network marketing 5 years ago, and he never made any money, and so that is proof that network marketing is no good. So,
yeah, you're right. The limiting beliefs can be applied to just about anything we're doing, or anything that you're saying. You know, when you're talking about the product, you're talking about it working. If people are thinking, if you're thinking to yourself, this is too expensive, you're projecting that to the person in front of you. And it's not too expensive, and everybody's got to get over that 100%. So I think that one of the main objections will be for the business, for the products, in themselves, in network marketing. I mean, there's so many areas of limited beliefs that I think that it really has to come from you when you're speaking to someone, that your belief, right, Judy? That's what you're saying, that your belief that is so high that they believe what you believe, and at first that's what they'll do, is they'll have that same level of belief, not the same level of belief, but they believe in you, so now they're going to, you know, possibly believe in your beliefs.
Absolutely. And so we basically have two responsibilities when it comes to talking to a customer, even before, during, and after objections. And if you want to advance the slide, those responsibilities is all about education and letting the customer know and understand what we're talking about. Because sometimes we do talk in terms and things that people don't understand. And really, I find that if I confuse my customer, they don't buy from me. So I have to continue to help them understand, to educate them on the health of the country, the product, the business, whatever that conversation is. It's all about teaching others what we believe.
And Judy, how important would you say it is that is a discussion when you talk about education and helping people understand? How important is it that you're also listening to what they have to say and also listening to what their beliefs are?
Absolutely. And I really believe that understanding is not only them understanding us, but you understanding them, where they are, where they're coming from, what their wishes are, what their challenges are, and possible ways to overcome them. It's definitely a two-way street.
And it's also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
We have to also look at how many places that we've gone, Judy, that we've talked to people who are doing something new in medicine or they're doing something new in natural supplements, and you and I kind of leave and we're like, whoa, we really learned something. And I think that's really so important that both of these, just as you just said, are a two-way street, that we're learning and we're educating and we're understanding and we are trying to be understood. It's all just a process of us. It's a relationship. When it comes right down to it, is that you really are creating a relationship. And if you have a relationship with someone that's cohesive, and what I always say when I'm networking is, let's get together and learn about each other's businesses so we can see if there's ways that we can help each other grow our business. And I'm always looking for those connections. Wow, how can this help? I have a friend who is, I believe, on the webinar today, Cindy, and she's a reflexologist. And when you talk about reflexology and you talk about circulation and those points in your body, you talk about acupuncture, you have to learn about what this person is actually doing so that you can put the pieces of the puzzle together to say, how can I fit in and how can we work together? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about collaboration, and we just talked about that a couple weeks ago on a Monday morning call. It's not about competition anymore. I don't believe there is competition. I think that we all can work together. There's a competitor's product, not really competition. Let's collaborate. Let's figure out how we can work together. Maybe your product does something that my product doesn't, and a lot of times there's other network marketing companies that say, oh, I'm in nutrition. We're competitors. I'm like, no, you're not a competitor. Let's figure out how you can get your product to work with my product, and we can collaborate and share. So absolutely. So there is actually a secret formula that we're going to share now, and I think, Jean, is this the dog you're watching?
No, she's much bigger than that.
Oh, okay. Well, so this secret formula is 4 different things, and the beauty about it is that you keep using this secret formula in different orders. It doesn't make any difference what order you use it. It doesn't make any difference if you use something twice. I wish I could cook this way, because sometimes I oversalt, or I forget an ingredient. Well, you shouldn't forget any of these ingredients, because these 4 things are going to help the objections not appear. And that is the beauty of overcoming objections. is that they understand and they're relating to you so much, and they believe in you, and you've connected with them so that they want to be a part of what you have, no matter if you're selling tires on the side of the road to people that are speeding by. They want what you have. It doesn't make any difference. And this really is the secret formula.
Yeah, and I think that one of the biggest ones for me is, and I've obviously gotten better at it, but when I first started, I was so excited about the product and what it had done for me, and I didn't do a lot of listening because I knew everything. And I mean, I know that doesn't sound like me, but listening is always a challenge for me, especially when I get excited about something and I feel like I have the answer to something. So I have that feeling inside of me that I'm just like jumping out of my skin, and I have to tell you, and I know this is going to help you. And Cindy and I were talking earlier this week about I think it's her brother that has blood clots, and I can feel that in me. It's like, oh, this can help, and I get so excited. And to be completely honest with you, it really isn't so much the money, although the money is something that I'm focused on. It is really blessing lives and really helping people. So I'm not going to get to the place where I can really help somebody unless I take the time to listen and then try to relate not only to the problem that they had, but the way that they're feeling and the way that they how they will perceive this information as, here, oh yeah, here's a product that'll help, and by the way, I sell it. And trying to be really cognizant of that, and then to be able to tell stories. One of the things Cindy and I talked about was, do we have a testimonial? Do we have a testimonial that would help, explain? And then, of course, asking questions is always the important thing, and also knowing when and how to ask questions, because sometimes people don't want you prying into their life, and you just have to be kind of cognizant of where those boundaries are as well. Looking for those social cues.
That's so true. And the hardest part for me, what it was, Jean, with this secret formula, it was the tellings of the story. I never thought that the stories I had were important enough or relatable enough for people to even grasp onto. And so I kind of forgot about my stories. And when I started telling stories, as simple as they would be, it just seemed that people like to hear stories. It's almost like there's gossip or something in there that, everyone like, oh, tell me more. What happened then? People love stories.
Judy,
so I am trying to get better at telling stories, and I have to think, okay, do I know a story here that I can? It has to be a relatable story. We used to have a girl in our team that she was great at stories. Oh my gosh, great at stories. Unfortunately, the stories she told had nothing to do with the conversation we were talking about, and so it brought us out of the conversation a little bit.
Judy?
So if you're telling stories, yes.
Could I share something with regards to this aspect of telling stories?
Absolutely, Dan.
Tell your story. I'll give you an example. I have a new distributor. His name is Rob. He's a taxi cab driver in Las Vegas, and he wants to do this business, and so we have prepared some things that he can do from a marketing standpoint. And for the first 2 weeks of him doing this, he wasn't very successful. Most people didn't want the information that he was sharing with them. And I asked him, tell me about your blood pressure. And so he began to tell me how Pro-Oxide Plus lowered his blood pressure. And so I said, well, what were your specific numbers? What was your blood pressure before you were on the product, and what was your blood pressure after you've been on the product? And so he gave me that information. I said, Rob, you need to build that into your story. Don't just tell people that this can help with blood pressure. Rob, you need to tell your story. You need to tell them how Pro-Oxide Plus took your blood pressure from, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but whatever it was to where you're at now. And because of this, you just feel that you need to share this information with other people because you didn't like being on medication, you didn't like the fact that you had high blood pressure and the medications that you're having to take, and now that you found something that will naturally help you, you just feel compelled to share this information. So he built that into what he did, and it was a night and day difference. I talked to him last week, and he said it was amazing the difference. People resonated with his story, and they wanted information, so they gladly accepted his flyer. Now, these are people who are in Las Vegas who are not there to find out about how they can improve their health, but rather how they can win at the gambling tables. But they took the information, whereas before they weren't really receptive to the information. Packaging your story tightly with as much quantitative information as possible so that people can see the before and the after really hits home. So this whole aspect of sharing and telling stories, especially your story, to create that initial rapport with that person is extremely important.
Thank you, Dan. That is so, so true. And if you have time in a taxi cab, you probably don't have a lot of time to start asking a lot of questions because they're probably pretty short rides. But being able to continue that conversation and being able to ask questions and relating to the person and listening to them in all this jumbled up order, this is going to change our business. I tell you, it's changed mine.
That's definitely changed mine, the listening aspect. And I think probably everybody can relate to that too, that you probably have, one or two of these that you think, well, I could probably really work on that. Or I could probably really, hone my skills on that a little bit. And, examine some of the things that you do. I know one of the things that Judy and I do all the time is after we do a presentation, we'll go out to the car and we'll sit and talk about really what was the strong points of the presentation, what are some things we could do to improve, and really just trying to make the next presentation even better. And we're amazed at how the presentation flows now between the two of us. So it really is, it's honing in on what you are strong at, what you're not strong at, and then working on the things that you need work on.
Absolutely. So if you have some strength in one of these areas, definitely use it. And if you have some weakness, figure out a way to improve upon it. And sometimes just even for me, asking questions before I became a coach, I was not really good at asking questions. I was great at listening, but not so much at asking questions. I felt I was intrusive. Now I've completely changed my mindset. And now I am no longer intrusive. What I am is I am anxious to learn, and the only way I can learn is to ask questions. And so just changing my mindset and learning. I used to have a list of questions. Don't laugh at me, everybody, but I had a list of questions to ask my coaching clients because I didn't know how to ask questions. So I wrote down my list, and when I got stuck, I'd look at my list. Oh, gosh, what can I ask here? Oh, yeah, I'll ask that. So it's okay to not be good at it.
I don't believe that. You're the queen of questions.
I am the queen of questions, but I have worked on it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then I'm the opposite. It's I know what questions to ask. I just have to remember to listen to the answers. Seriously, sometimes you get on to the next question that you're going to be thinking of, and you're not thinking what the person's saying.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, I think we all have that challenge. So, right now we kind of want to open up the lines. There's still sometimes you do have objections, and so we want to make this webinar real here. And I'm just wondering, is there anybody on the webinar today that has an objection that they have not been able to overcome? And could any of the leaders on the webinar today help you with that objection? So the lines are open if anybody wants to ask.
Actually, you have to unmute yourself if you want to say anything. So all you just click the microphone. sure everybody's just, talking away in their homes or in their cars, wherever you are.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, so one of the objections that I can see right off the top here is money, and that's a big one. I mean, you can't really tell people that they can find money where they really don't have it. And then, I mean, that's really, I think one of my biggest ones is that money is tight, and I really can't afford it right now. Not so much for customers, because for customers I can actually talk to them about the money back guarantee and what are you going to do about your health issue if you don't. But as far as becoming a distributor and making a business out of it, sometimes it's a little bit harder to ask people to dig a little deeper into their pockets for that.
Well, you do remember too that the business is also guaranteed. So there is a money back guarantee on the business too. That first order can be returned if within the 120 days that the person has not sold anything or doesn't think the business is good, they can return it. And there's actually very few network marketing companies that has that opportunity.
Yeah, and another thing too, I mean, sometimes I tell people, well, why don't you go and get some customers? If you know some people and you really want to do the business, go and get some customers and you get your product for free then. Once you have 5 customers, your product is basically free. So that's a good place to start.
Absolutely, and that's how they do it in China. And Donald Clark actually made a comment that all the questions are wrapped up in listening, and it's just so true. Those 4, that secret formula. If you just keep talking when they give you an objection and relate to them and understand what they're saying and tell a story about something and keep on listening and asking more questions, it's all going to work.
Judy? And Penny, I see you unmuted yourself.
Yeah. That was in fact Elon. I'm sorry.
That was Elon, yeah.
Yeah, but my success I found was in telling stories. That for me was so poignant when it was developing here in New York. People resonated with my story, and only when I started, then it became an aha moment for a number of people who were going through the problems with their legs and that kind of stuff, and they say, oh, that's what it is. And when I shared and they tried a product, they got results, and they too now became storytellers about how the before and after. So yeah, for me, telling stories is huge.
It is.
Absolutely listening to their testimony, as we call it here, was also huge, because you got to collaborate a little bit more even.
Yes, relating to them and doing all that, absolutely. And stories touch people's hearts. They just do.
Yeah, Penny, you were going to say something?
Yes, I just had an experience where I know a lady who has been a distributor, but she really hasn't been doing the business. But she has stated this because she buys a lot of products. And so when I found that out, I said to her, I said, let me get you some information on preferred customer program. And so I went to the Synergy Library, printed it out, and we talked about it. And I said, and so we can use it for people that are wanting maybe to do the business but feel they can't afford it, building on what you said. I said, if you become a preferred customer and then you share your story with your friends and then they purchase it, you earn points, they earn points, and all of a sudden you have a whole network going and you're earning points, you get free products, and when you start seeing that and the value and you try other products, then you decide, what, I can do this. They've already have people that they have referred because they're getting the free points. And so now you have a new distributor.
So yeah, absolutely, and it's just finding out what are their needs, being able to relate to them and ask those questions and listen to really what they want and where their life is going. And it's all about finding the answer that is going to be best for them. And sometimes it might not be Pro-Arginine Plus, but maybe we can help them in another way. But really, it's finding the answer that's best for the customer.
Yeah, and your classes on the art of asking questions really has made a difference for me, because it made me start thinking of objections I have, and how could I respond in a way that makes them think, well, why are they saying that if they're already doing so? Like on our E9 program, Dan always says a lot of people are already buying the caffeine drinks and everything else, so they're not creating a new habit by buying E9. They're replacing a good habit with a bad habit. And so it helps you start thinking of questions to ask.
Yes, absolutely. Did anybody else have any questions or comments? Well, I hope that this webinar has been helpful. What we've tried to do is given you some keys today to help you improve your ability to overcome rejections, to increase your synergy business. We already know that you've got the heart for the business, or you wouldn't be here on this call on a Saturday morning with, at least in Chicago, beautiful weather where we could be out doing a ton of other things. So we appreciate you so much and your giving up your Saturday morning. And of course, we've got the best product. We know we have the best product in the world when it comes to circulation with Pro-Arginine Plus. There are just so many reasons why. And this team is here to help you. That's what we do. We want to all work together to help overcome your challenges and what's going on in your life so that we can all be successful together.
Yes, Judy, this is a great slide. I wasn't really sure where you were going with this when I saw it the first time, but this is what we're doing here, is we're supporting our team members, and we're making sure that everyone stays connected. One of the things that we really believe is important is a culture of our Synergy family, is that we are here to support each other, because we do have the heart and we do have the product, and with the tools that you're given through the training that we have, through our calls through the week and our webinars, that will be the key to success. So thank you so much, Judy, for this slide, because I really didn't know what it was the first time I looked at
it. That's okay. It's me talking in code, which I do a lot.
Donald, ladies, it's Donald, and before you wrap up, going over the list of objections, I saw one that was huge for me, pyramid scheme.
Ah.
And Dan had an excellent overcome when he would indicate the business is what you make it be, and that's one of the objections I got when in approaching an already established pharmacy who indicated he's not into a pyramid scheme, and I came back with him by saying it is what you want it to be, and it has changed his thinking a little bit about getting involved, and I'm hoping to again get him on board very, very soon. I thank you.
Yeah, well, you're welcome, and I'm glad that's working for you, Donald. And one of the things that I do is I use that secret formula when someone says it's a pyramid scheme, and I just say, really, tell me more about that, because you know what, they've got a story. And maybe that story has a lot of pain in it when they think pyramid scheme, because You know, we've got stories of people on our team right now that have lost thousands of dollars in other network marketing companies. And it may not be because the company was bad. It may be because they got some poor advice, or they really weren't sure what they were doing, and they ended up
bankrupt.
Or the company went bankrupt. Yeah, which is just happened. So you know, we've got to really remember that we want to listen to their objections and be able to relate to them and find out and understand, and you know, and then of course, you know, talk to them about the difference in synergy, you know, that education part, to tell them the difference in synergy and other network marketing companies, and how, you know, it's a business, you know, totally different. That's on the most trusted 100 most trusted companies, and all that other things that we know about Synergy worldwide.
Okay, so does anybody else have any other questions or comments on overcoming objections for Judy or I or any of the other leaders? Well, I think you're going to, Judy, I was going to say, when Judy says that we could be outside doing any number of things, what she's really talking about is she really wants to be outside in her garden. So I know that that's where she's headed as we speak. So
that's true. I'm sitting here in bare feet, all ready and raring to go.
You go do your grounding out in your backyard, right?
Yep.
Thanks, Betsy. Betsy says good presentation. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being at our webinar today, and have a great rest of your weekend. And we will see you on our Monday morning call, the Global Health Makeover call. If you don't have that information, send either Jean or Judy an email and tell them that you would like the information to be on our Monday morning call. It's 8:30 Central Time. It's the middle of the night for Bob Wishmeyer, but he runs our call for us, and out there on the West Coast. And then Tuesday, Judy has an amazing call for the 21-day challenge, and it's our Make Yourself a Better Person call, I call it. I love it. It's a great call. And then, again, every Saturday we have our webinars, which are always going to help you improve your N factor. So I want to thank everybody so much for being here this morning, and I'll say goodbye, and I'll let you say goodbye as well, Judy.
Yes, thank you. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jean, for always being there, and for being a friend and doing crazy things with me all the time. And that's kind of what we like to do with all of our friends here in Synergy Worldwide.
Yeah.
So, all right, everybody, have a great week.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Judy. Thank you, Jean.